And I feel like I was really put on this earth to share the beauty of a different type of marketing effort that not a lot of entrepreneurs realize is in reach for them. Because I want entrepreneurs to succeed. I want all of us to get the visibility that we deserve.
Welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roars, your host, and hey, thanks for joining me today. I'm here just to pour some positive back into your day with practical tips and stories to encourage and inspire. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the Sunshine Cafe. I'm Lisa Roars, your host, and I have a really special guest with me today. She is an expert in visibility. Her wealth of knowledge on how to navigate that ever-changing media landscape is really helpful to anybody looking to expand their business or to grow their network. And I can't wait for you guys to hear what she has to say and all the different ways you can benefit from her expertise. So, Mercedes Barba, welcome to the show.
Yay! Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for having me and for that beautiful introduction.
I have so enjoyed getting to know you, or the little bit that we've had a chance to do that. And you have had such a successful career in media and PR and all the different things. I'm just curious if you can share with us a little bit of your journey and kind of what initially drew you to that space and how you got started in the industry.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone listening. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I'm excited to share with you the power that the media holds for small business owners and entrepreneurs. So, as you mentioned, Lisa, I was a journalist. I spent about almost 15 years as a reporter. I'm originally from Los Angeles. 5 of those years I spent covering entertainment and doing red carpets. And
Mm.
I was going to Hollywood. Right out of high school, I realized, this is what I want to do. I want to be a journalist. And I started creating opportunities for myself, going to red carpets, interviewing at film festivals. I interviewed A-list celebrities like Jim Carrey and Jason Segel and Justin Timberlake and Cameron Diaz and Morgan Freeman. And I was like 18 or 19, like, how am I here right now? And I've always been that person that if I want it, I'll go for it. Right. And that's what I did. So I spent about 5 years doing that. And so when I graduated with my undergraduate degree, I always wanted to move to New York. It was like a dream. Like, I don't know, there was something that drew me to New York. There was something that I needed to fulfill over there. And I ended up applying to NYU, got accepted to the master's program for journalism. And it was there that my life really changed. It was like my eyes were open to New York City, right? The most bustling city in the world, the most incredible city. New York has my heart forever. I live in LA and everyone's like Dodgers, Dodgers, and I'm like Yankees. It's like New York is it's my world, it's my heart. It has a piece of my heart. So I ended up there falling into covering personal finance and entrepreneurship. So when I was at NYU, we had a career services director. Her name is Sylvan Soloway. She gave me my start in New York. And she was like, hey, there's an opportunity at CNBC. And I had never heard of CNBC. And for those of you that know it, you guys are like, are crazy, Mercedes. How do you not know what CNBC is? And for those of you that are like me, like, what is CNBC? So I never grew up with a finance background. My parents were entrepreneurs, but we never talked about money, which is very normal in many households in America. But I Googled CNBC and I was like, this is like a major, I feel so silly saying it, but this is a major publication, right? Like a major news station. And my dream was always to work for NBC Universal. That was my dream. And so obviously CNBC is part of NBC Universal. And so I was like, I'll take it. And I was like, but I don't know anything about money. Like, I don't know anything about budgeting or finance or investing. And it was like, don't worry, we're going to teach you everything. Okay. So my first day, I ended up working in a department that was the video program because my journalism degree at NYU was a video program, it was a documentary course or documentary degree.
Mhm.
And so I started working for one of the series at CNBC called Make It, which is an inspirational, aspirational arm of what they do. They talk a lot about entrepreneurs that left a six-figure job but now opened up a hot dog stand and now they're happier. And here's how they did it. Business Insider does stories like this all the time. Check out this woman that is a ghostwriter for entrepreneurs and now has a seven-figure business or whatever. And so we were doing a lot of stories like that. And so I would go around following the producers, and because I was sort of the entry level worker, and I would go around with camera equipment and microphones and lights, and I would help them set up interview settings and turn my camera on and interview celebrities and entrepreneurs and Mark Cuban and Misty Copeland, who was the first Black principal dancer for the New York Ballet, like just interviewing all of these incredible people. And I started realizing like, okay, this is something really special. I think finance really touches every aspect of what we do. And so I was able to cover everything from entertainment there all the way to hard news to breaking news to everything. And so that kickstarted my career. And then I started working at Money Magazine, where I was a senior video producer and interviewing entrepreneurs. And I ended up working at a brand called Next Advisor, and it was in partnership with Time Magazine. And it was there where I really realized my calling. We started covering, I'm a woman of color, I'm a Mexican American and a Latina, first generation. And we started interviewing a lot of women of color and men of color and people that, first generation business owners. And I started realizing the power that we were getting them featured on Time Magazine, because that's we were affiliated with Time Magazine. And I started noticing their businesses blow up, them getting this insane visibility and being able to put Time Magazine on their website. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to help. I want to help entrepreneurs get that credibility, get that visibility, and help small business owners grow their businesses. And so I ended up leaving journalism after almost 15 years. I think I spent about 13 and a half years there as a reporter. And I do this full time now. I am a publicist. I'm also a media coach. So I will teach entrepreneurs on how to do their own PR, which is really great because as your business grows and as you start having more offers, or maybe you write a book, you can essentially learn to do your own PR. I also take on clients for my PR firm where I am your publicist and I will pitch you out to the media. And because I had such an intense background of storytelling, I can craft your story. And I can say, ooh, you know what? Let's go with that angle because that will go really well with Business Insider. Or, oh, that will go really well with CNBC Make It because I used to work there. So that is like in a nutshell of who I am and what I do. And I feel like I was really put on this earth to share the beauty of a different type of marketing effort that not a lot of entrepreneurs realize is in reach for them.
Hmm.
A lot of entrepreneurs are like, well, Jeff Bezos is on the news all the time, or Kim Kardashian. Why am I able? Why am I eligible to be in media? And you are, right? The journalism world is always looking for entrepreneurs that can share maybe some learnings or some service that they learned, or hey, I failed 3 times, but when I picked myself back up, I did it. And
Right.
now look at my business. So it really is an incredible wormhole that entrepreneurs can go through and can really accelerate the visibility of a business.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you're right. Anybody is really just one or two key stories away from being somebody who's really
Yep,
well known. It just
yep,
takes a little bit of that exposure.
yep.
And there's something too about somebody else telling your story and bragging about your product or your services than you bragging about your own services. There's something about that disconnection, just a little bit of disconnection that
Yeah.
really makes it more valid.
Yeah. I'm your wing woman, right? I'm your spokesperson. I'm your hype man. So I'm there like, look, reporter, I'm telling you, this person is amazing. A lot of what PR is it's very time consuming. It's a lot of network building, it's a lot of building these connections. And I was actually right before this call, I was texting with a producer in New York. And I'm like, hey, my client, hey, hey, hey. And it's a matter of just doing that. You got to knock on these doors and say, hey, don't forget, I have a great client. Hey, even me. Hey, I'm a good source. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a this, I'm a that. I can be your source. I can be in the media. And so, when you have me, whether it's me coaching you how to do it or whether it's me being your publicist, I'm there reminding the journalist, hey, don't forget Lisa. She's incredible,
Yeah.
right?
It is so important, Mercedes, because that takes a lot of effort and energy. And from starting a business or running a business, we know a lot of solo entrepreneurs, you and I. And when you're doing all of that yourself, you don't have that extra energy to just keep on pressing and keep on pressing to get the media coverage that you really are looking
Yep.
for. So you have a great service that you're doing for people. One of the things you mentioned that I want to kind of dive back into a little bit is from the very beginning, right when you got out of college or got out of high school, really, you created your own opportunities. Tell me a little bit about that because that's a huge differentiator.
Yeah. I've always been that type, like, I'm bored. What can I do? I'm going to launch a photography business. Okay, did it. and it was blowing up, and I was like, oh, wait, is this what I want to do? Right? It's doing photography is very hard, and I have such a passion for it, but I ended up getting pregnant with my son, and I was like, I can't be carrying around camera gear and getting on ladders, and so I had to end that. But it was something that I created for myself. I even launched an Etsy store, and it took off. And, I'm one of those people that like if I'm bored or if I'm like, huh, I think I could do that, I'll do it. And but I've always been that way ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so when I was 18, I was like, I want to be a journalist. I want to go and interview people. And I did it. And I think there's something really important and special and very interesting about manifestation and creating and putting it out into the world. Like I always wanted to work at NBC Universal, and I did. And it was like, oh, this is working at NBC Universal. This is cool. Wow. And then I was like, I want to teach people how to do PR. And now I'm doing it. And there's something really, really powerful about speaking it, doing it, and figuring it out as you go. I can't even tell you how many things I just figured out on the fly. And it's not like, faking it till you make it. I feel like there's such a negative connotation with that because you're not faking it. You are doing it. And for entrepreneurs, that's such a really important thing to remember is we're not faking it till we make it. We're learning. We're learning until we learn it, right? And it's a really special thing. And as an entrepreneur, it's so hard to get up every morning. I wake up with a little imposter syndrome or a little anxiety, and I'm like, all right, take it. This is normal. Lean into those feelings. Thank you, feelings, for being there, but I'm going to overcome them
Yes.
and I'm going to carry on with my day and land clients and book my clients. And, entrepreneurship is a really interesting thing.
Yeah, it is. And it's always changing. So you don't get too bored. You're never sitting still for too long.
Yeah.
I'm curious because, manifesting something or even just pursuing the goals, however you want to phrase that, is a talent, a skill in its own right. But in
Mhm.
order to truly pursue that, you have to be pretty clear on what it is you want. How did you find that clarity?
Interesting. Yeah, that's a great question. I think I envision a life for myself,
Mhm.
and I just did it. And I was very lucky to grow up with parents that were entrepreneurs. My parents never ever worked in corporate. There was never okay, I'm going to work in this corporate job. Like, I have PTO, I got to use PTO. That was not a thing. Even growing up, we didn't take like these family vacations. It wasn't like that. My parents were entrepreneurs and they hustled and they did real estate. My mom did residential, my dad did commercial. And they were always like, I got to go show property. You're coming with me. Okay. Oh, I got to go show this guy a warehouse. So you're coming with me. Okay. They created this thing for themselves. And I always saw that, and they were very together, but also they were very independent business owners and had their own clients and would come together for support. And it was really interesting to see that, to grow up in their real estate office. That's what I saw. So for me, this grind of like, not grinding, because with life, you got to balance your life. It's not like I'm grinding all the time. I have a 2-year-old son, so I have to really do things that are going to move the needle for me,
Mhm.
not waste my time you know, spinning the wheels of something that's not working. So for them, I saw that and I saw them hustling and they were so successful in it. They even survived the 2008 market crash and all of that, and they came back stronger. And so I was very lucky to see that. I want my son to see that too.
You had great examples from
Yeah.
your parents, and you're being that now for your son, which is a wonderful way to pass that along.
Yeah.
I love that you said that you envisioned it because I
Mhm.
think as human beings, we are such visual creatures that you can really start wrapping your head around the reality of it when you really picture the details of that future reality and almost try it on like you would an
Yeah.
outfit or a pair of shoes. The other thing that you said that I think is so awesome is how you continue to innovate and you continue to recreate yourself and you continue to give yourself permission to shift and try something new. And so, no, I haven't done this particular thing 20 years, but I can try it and I can do it. And I love that you've got that ability to just shift, try something new.
Yeah. And we want to learn more. Like, why are we on this earth, right? Like, what are we here to do? And we have to evolve. And especially with what's going on with AI and everything going on in our economy and everything going on in our world, we need to stay on top. We need to be better than we were yesterday. And so for me, it's a lot of learning. I take a lot of courses. I work with coaches. I'm constantly trying to elevate myself so that if I come across a client that is like, Mercedes, I need help with this, I have those tools in my tool belt where I'm like, I can help you. Or even just be a sounding board for entrepreneurs because I have a lot of friends that are like, oh, I have imposter syndrome again. I'm like, lean into those feelings, say thank you, and move on, girl, because you got a busy day ahead. So it's just a matter of staying on top and really just kind of leaning into internally who you are and finding that strength to just continue going.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever find a time when you were stuck or had a hard time understanding what was going to be your next chapter and how to get to that? How did you get out of stuck and into the next step?
Oh yeah. Great question. So, not to get like very personal, but I lost my father
Mm.
in June of this last year, 2024, and that rocked my world. Like that was like, whoa, this is life. You don't know how it affects you until you're in it and you're like, I never thought that this person that was my inspiration, my rock, I talked to him 15 times a day. We lived on the same property. I would see him every second, like, hey, dad, you want to go to lunch? And he always taught me stand up for yourself. You're a strong woman. Don't let anyone walk all over you. You're going to figure it out. And I was always talking to him about my business. And I always wanted to do this. And this was before he passed away. And I was like, Dad, I got to quit my job because I have to do this full time. And my dad was like, wait, 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 wait. Before you quit your job, like, are you sure? Are you sure? You have your son. I'm like, I know. And the reason I need to quit my job is for my son. This voice in my head is telling me I need to do this. And so I need to make the jump and the leap to do this. And it wasn't until I lost my dad where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't function, I can't eat, cannot work. Luckily, somehow this all worked out. All of the clients that I had, their retainers were ending right at that moment. And I didn't sign anybody else on again because I couldn't deliver. I needed the break. And so I ended up retreating a little bit, halting my business, not posting on social media anymore, just taking a step back, being with my son,
Mm.
because God gives you what you need at that moment and you don't realize it. And I didn't realize at the time how much I needed my son to help me through that moment
Yeah.
because I was in bed, I was crying, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I would get sick to my stomach. And I'm not that type of person.
You strike me as a very strong person. So it's actually really enlightening to hear that when life shows up, whether it's a loss of a parent or a friend or a spouse, or whether it's something else, even a personal diagnosis, it can knock the strongest person off their strength and onto the couch.
Totally. Yeah, that was me, this person that can get through anything that was thrown my way. And then it was like, whoa. And I fell into this deep depression and it was very odd. But, I would have to get up every morning because I had my son, and all right, I have this little boy I got to take care of. So we're getting up today. We're taking a shower today. We're getting dressed. We're eating today. I'm like, all right, got to get it together. So finally, I come out of this very deep grief hole that I was in. Grief is still there. Even right now, I start feeling my eyes tearing up because you talk about it and
Yeah.
it comes again. It's something that you never heal from. I think you learn to live with it, as a lot of people say. But it was that moment where I realized, okay, life is fleeting, life is short. We're only on this earth for a little bit of time. I need to show my son how strong his mom is, just the way my parents showed me how strong they were,
Mhm.
and that was it. And so I relaunched my business and I came at it like full throttle and I quit my job. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in. I'm going to go all in because this is my life and these are my precious heartbeats that I have and I'm going to give them all to me and my family. So,
Yeah. And to work hard to live worthy of those heartbeats, worthy
yeah.
of that breath, worthy of the life that we've been given. That's
Yeah.
great.
Exactly.
And the
And
beautiful thing about all that is all those amazing mantras that your dad had planted into your mind are still there and are carrying you, I'm sure, on
yeah.
the tough
Oh
days.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
they'll always be there.
yeah.
And you can pass those along to your son as well.
Yeah, exactly. I kept one of my dad's chairs that he sat on every day, and he was working until the day he passed away. Even like clients that I called that he was working on deals with, they were like, "What do you mean? I just talked to him yesterday." I'm like, "I know.
Mm. Oh,
Well, I know,
wow.
and I'm here to tell you that he passed." And so that chair that he sat on, he was like, "Oh, I make all my deals on this chair." So we sit on the chair, my son and I, and I'm like, "This is Grandpa's chair." And he's like, "Grandpa's chair." So it's keeping that memory alive and also like living every day for my dad,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is why I'm so passionate about helping entrepreneurs because I want entrepreneurs to succeed. I want all of us to get the visibility that we deserve.
Yeah.
And, through a media feature, you can do that.
Well, I'm so very glad to hear that you had someone like your dad. Not everybody has the gift of someone like that to pour into you and to fill you up with that kind of strength and confidence and the things that you need to keep going while he was with you and the many, many years that you will go on after him. So I'm curious, tell us a little bit about some success stories you've had with some of your clients. I know you have many of them, but can you highlight a couple for us?
Definitely. So one of my clients that I'm still working with, she's an incredible finance expert. Her name is Annie, and she and I connected on Instagram, and I there was something about like our connection where I was like, I want to help you. And she's like, yes, and we help each other. She's very supportive of bringing me into her cohort, and I'm helping her land media. And so we just have a really great relationship, and there's a lot of trust. And that goes such a long way. But we landed her. And I say we because PR is a two-way street. I can't do anything unless I have your help. And so she's just such a rock star where I'm like, a journalist wants to talk to you. Are you free in the next 10 minutes? She's like, yeah, I'm free. Let's do it. So finding clients like that are like, I will do whatever I need to do for you so that you can do your job effectively. So I say we because it's a team effort. So we landed her a feature on Business Insider, and the feature that we got her was like, here's how I went from 26,000 a year to a seven-figure net worth with these 3 or 4 steps. And it was a very beautiful story because it had a lot of service. When you're thinking about media, you just have to remember, what service are you offering to the audience? So it's like, here's how I went from a 26,000 net worth to a seven-figure net worth with these 3 or 4 steps. That's your service. So number one, I negotiated a higher salary. Here's how I did it. Number two, I started investing. Number three, I bought a duplex and I lived in one side and rented out the other side. Number four, I budgeted, right? Or I created my emergency fund or whatever. So you have to remember that when you do want to do media, there has to be some sort of service element to it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's important across the board. So for her, we landed her in Business Insider, and immediately from that feature, she got 5,000 leads directly back to her site, like that. And before I take on any client, I make sure I look at their website. We sit together. I'm like, okay, are you able to grab all of these leads? Because we're not going to do this visibility and get you media and have people directed back to your site if we're not capturing those leads. You have to make sure you're all set up because people are going to read the article on Business Insider, click on your site, and be there for 3 seconds, and they're going to leave. If there's not something that's, hey, sign up for my lead magnet, sign up for my free guide on how to negotiate your salary or
Mhm.
how to buy your first piece of property. So before you do media, you want to make sure that you're able to capture all of those emails of people that are reading a Business Insider article and get directed back to your site.
Yeah.
So that was super valuable. She got 5,000 leads overnight. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I see it now." I'm like, "Do you see it?" Because Business Insider has 100 million readers a month minimum. I just looked yesterday because there's a website where you can see like month to month. Yesterday I just saw they had 233 million readers in the month of March. It's an insane visibility platform that not a lot of entrepreneurs are leveraging.
Yeah.
And you do the reels and you do the Instagram and you try to go viral on TikTok and oh, maybe if I point and dance, maybe I'll do it. But media creates a visibility that social media cannot. And
They've already created the network. They've already created the foundation. All
yeah,
you have to do is plug into it.
yeah, and not to mention, SEO, right, which is search engine optimization. It's how you show up in the Google search rankings. So if you are connected to an article on Business Insider and other articles in Entrepreneur, Forbes, this and that, Google's going to start recognizing you as an expert in your industry because you're associated with these legacy URLs and is going to start putting you up higher in the search rankings. So it's just a win-win across the board. They live forever on the
Mhm.
site, so you can
Mhm.
send them over to clients and say, "Look, I was featured on Business Insider. I'm an expert."
Mhm.
So that is so valuable, and that's the success that we see.
I love it. I love it. So, what about that entrepreneur that's listening right now and has never journeyed into this space and doesn't really know even where to start? Could you, without telling them
Yeah,
too many
yeah,
secrets of your business, but a couple
yeah,
things that someone could do to get started?
yeah. Number one, read the news.
Mm.
Read the news in your industry. So, I'm going back to my client who's a personal finance expert. Obviously, right now, there's tons of things going on in finance. The stock market, the tariffs, how are they going to affect us? The economy, recession, everything's inflation, right? Everything's getting pricier, salaries are not going up. There's a tons of things across the board. So reading the media and knowing, okay, maybe I'm a finance expert, so what can I talk about? Well, I could talk about investor behavior. What should people do right now in the stock market,
Mhm.
right? Because there's tons of stories about that.
Yeah.
What should they do?
But this helps them understand what are the things that people would want right now.
Exactly. So, what service can you offer? What are some of the actionable tips that you can give to an audience? That's number one. Number two is starting to look at who's writing the articles. So, looking at the journalists and saying, oh, all right, Mercedes, Mercedes Barba works for Business Insider. Huh, she's writing a lot of stories on inflation. So, that looks like that's her niche. In journalism, we call it the beat, BEAT. So, her beat is inflation, right? Or her beat is stock market or investor behavior or maybe more human interest stories, which is something inspirational, right? So, Mercedes writes a little bit of human interest stories. So, what can I present to her that is something in her beat that she would be interested in or she would cover? So, what you do is, as an entrepreneur, click in the article where it says by Mercedes Barba. That's called a byline. Click that, and that'll take you to their bio. And typically on their bio page or their byline page, there's an email address
Hmm.
or their LinkedIn or maybe their Instagram or their Twitter. And I would shoot them a note and say, hey, my name is Lisa, and I am a podcast host. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mom. And if you're ever writing a story on fill in the blank. I would love to be an expert for you. I can talk on these 3 points as well as others. And just send an introduction because you never know, you never ever know who's waiting,
Mhm.
who's in need of a source. And media takes time. It's hard for me to land something tomorrow because a lot of the times like I'll send an email 3 months ago and then the reporter will be like, "Oh my gosh, Mercedes, hey, just saw this email. Sorry for the delay. Are you free for a call this week?" Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, totally. Right. So it's building the network of people that you know. Like, for example, I would also go on LinkedIn, right? There's a journalist that I know who always taps into me. And she's like, hey, I know you work with this client. And it's because we connected on LinkedIn and we've always stayed connected. And it's also like, hey, how are you? How's your family? Hey, I saw you took a trip to Bora Bora, that looked awesome. We're all human and creating that human
Mhm.
connection. And so I would do that. If you're an entrepreneur that's considering media, or there's a podcast that you really like, send a note and say, hey, I saw recently that you guys did a story or you did a podcast episode about entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur. These are things that I could bring to the table.
And I can speak from experience that we're always looking for guests. So, podcasters are always looking for good guests that they can highlight, and it's a great way to get exposure.
Exactly. So I would do that and then just follow up and say, hey, Mercedes, great article that you published 2 days ago on, fill in the blank. If you're ever doing a story on this, I'm happy to be a source for you. Here's my website. Here's maybe another article I was featured in, right? So just connecting and finding your opportunities.
Mm,
And that's what a publicist does. It's like, hey, journalist, I got a great client for you. She's awesome,
yeah.
right? And here's why.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just being your own advocate and connecting with the reporters that are covering your industry.
Oh, great, great recommendations. And those are great ways to just get started. Otherwise, they can hire you, which would be, you know,
Yeah.
you're like the Energizer Bunny, just never stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, great. One of the things that I think is so inspiring about your whole story is that it's applicable for anybody at any age. You can always reinvent yourself. You can always step into something new. You can always put an article out there, no matter how old you are. You can always use that media to drive exposure to your business or to the things that really resonate with you. So I love how applicable and broad that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. It's in reach, a lot of entrepreneurs, again, they're like, well, if Kim Kardashian or, name your celebrity is in the media, like, why am I
Yeah.
allowed? Why am I,
I could never
yeah,
attain that.
exactly. And that's why I'm like, I'm trying to share that word of like, it's in reach. And look, this person did it, that person did it.
Yeah.
If they can do it, you can do it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, how would people reach out to you if they wanted to learn more about what coaching or PR services that you offer?
I have an amazing free guide on my website, mercedesbarba.com. There's a free guide you can pick up. It's 3 steps to landing media today. So basically, what I talked about, reaching out to reporters, finding journalists that cover your industry, figuring out what your story is, right? Because that's a big part of it. Like, what can I talk about? I have an amazing template where you can fill in
Mm.
for a pitch email that you can just send out to reporters today. That's tried and true, and I use it in my own business. So definitely go to mercedesbarba.com and you can pick up that guide. And also connect with me on LinkedIn. Mercedes Barba is my LinkedIn, and my Instagram handle is Mercedes and Media.
Okay.
Connect with me
Wonderful.
on Instagram. I'm always posting actionable tips and some takeaways. So yeah, a lot of great ways. And if anybody out there listening is just interested in even just, hey, Mercedes, I know nothing about media and I just want to learn step one, I would love to just hop on a call and
Mm.
try to share as much wisdom as I can and actionable takeaways that this person can do to create their own media journey. So I'm always open for that.
Beautiful. That's very generous. Thank you so much. Well, before we wrap up, do you have any final encouragements or anything else you'd like to share with the audience about media and how to get connected out there?
Yeah, it's again like just taking a look at your own business and just knowing that you are your own advocate and you are a strong entrepreneur and nobody out there can take that from you. You wake up every day with the imposter syndrome and the this and just remembering to continue and not to let these hardships because it's very normal for humans to try to protect ourselves, right?
Yeah.
It's this hunter-gatherer thing. We were chased by whatever animal back, hundreds of years ago. And so for us, our brain is trying to protect itself from doing something that's scary and something that is out of the norm from how we've been conditioned for so long. And so just continuing on with that journey and knowing that there's people out there that need your business and your help and really taking into consideration like how media or podcasting, getting featured in articles, getting on TV. That's something that I'm working on. One of my clients right now is landing her some TV spots and how that could be just an incredible way of visibility and it's not out of reach.
Yeah.
That we can all do it.
That's a great reminder. It's not out of reach. Oh, Mercedes, thank you so much for your time. I just love learning from you, with you. I just so appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course, Lisa, thank you so much. You are such a light and what you're doing here on this podcast and sharing inspirational stories and giving us a platform to share is incredible. So thank you.
Mercedes has so many media-tastic tips for us. I have 8 helpful takeaways for us today. Number 1, what are you put on this earth for? Mercedes felt like she was put on this earth to share the beauty of a different type of marketing effort that not a lot of entrepreneurs realize is in reach for them. Mercedes is passionate because she wants entrepreneurs to succeed and get the visibility they deserve. Number 2, don't let your lack of knowledge keep you from success. You can figure it out as you go. Mercedes reminds us that this is not the fake it till you make it kind of strategy, but more of a commitment to always keep learning. All throughout our life, we are constantly learning. But the one thing that is nearly impossible to teach is ambition. Ambition, fortitude, and that desire to pursue excellence. If you have these, my friend, you will go far. Mercedes didn't know much about finance, but she had a passion to learn and to do whatever she needed to do to be confident with her job. Number 3, media is an unlimited goldmine if you know how to leverage it for your business. The media can give you credibility, exposure, and leads. It will improve your SEO and change those algorithms so you show up in more searches. And it allows someone else to brag about you and your business so you can keep your humility and honor. Mercedes teaches her clients how to do their own PR, or she'll do the PR for you and take all of that time and effort off your plate. Media companies already have that network and the following, so all you need to do as an entrepreneur is to plug into it with excellence and integrity. And if you do that, the world will know your story and the value of your product or service that you have to offer. Number 4, success will come to those who create their own opportunities. Mercedes created her own opportunities and she wasn't afraid to jump into something new and try it. Her tenacity and willingness to reinvent herself over and over again is a huge encouragement for all of us. We do not need to feel stuck in one career or one industry or one job. We have a lot of options, and a lot of heartbeats to use in the ways that allow us to give back to the world and use those God-given talents to help other people. Number 5, vision is seeing the end goal so you know exactly what you're pursuing. Companies spend a lot of time and money on vision, and entrepreneurs can sometimes get bogged down in that downward spiral of overthinking what they want and where they want to go and what they want to do. And while that's valuable, sometimes it's more effective to just close your eyes and picture it. Like literally imagine exactly what you want that future reality to be. See all the fine details you can. Really daydream it out. And then capture it in the quickest way you can, whether that's an audio recording, a video recording of yourself, or jotting it down on paper. Capture it the quickest way you can, and then get busy pursuing it. Number 6, finding clarity is critical, and sometimes not always as easy as it sounds. For Mercedes, she had great examples in her parents to create the vision of a life she wanted. We all have examples of how we want to live, and maybe more often we have examples of how we don't want to live. But harness those examples in life that you've seen, whether it's things you don't want or things you do want, and use those examples to create the future vision for your life that really lights you up and gets you excited. Then get ready to work, and work very hard. Because the harder you work for something, the more rewarding that success feels when you finally get there. And trust me, it's worth it. Number 7, imposter syndrome hits even the strongest of business owners. Imposter syndrome is just a part of the process, so maybe try to just be ready for it. Expect it. Embrace it. And when that imposter syndrome shows up for you, as Mercedes says, lean into those feelings and say, thank you, but move on, girl, because I've got a busy day ahead. And finally, number 8, life interrupts, but God provides. Now, this is not a big news flash per se, but we are all human. And that means we have feelings and emotions and good days and bad days. So if you don't currently have an interruption going on in your life, an illness, a loss of a loved one, or complications in a relationship or some other life event going on in your life, well, if you don't have any of those things, be really grateful. And then be prepared, because we don't get through life without a lot of those. So it can be helpful to just kind of anticipate and expect them, and be willing to just give yourself a break from those professional pressures to focus on the things that really matter when those interruptions show up. It's okay to step away, and it's needed. And the more aware and awake we are to the precious people and the limited time that we have in this life, the more we can appreciate those that we have. And we can pivot to spend time with loved ones. Then, when something unexpected does show up, we can live forward without regret. Mercedes spent every day with her dad, learning from him and laughing with him and hearing wonderful insights from him. And when his days were done, she decided to go all in and to cherish the precious heartbeats that she's been given, to live worthy of those heartbeats and the breath she had in her lungs. And that, my friend, is a really good way to live without regret. Thank you everyone for joining me today. If you would, please share this episode, because again, you never know what kind of encouragement might be in this conversation that someone else needs to hear. So pass it along, share it, like it, and subscribe. Let's work together to flood the world with more encouragement. Until next time, my friends, stay encouraged, be inspired, and I'll see you next time right back here at the Sunshine Cafe.